What's going on, everyone? College Lefty, and in this video I have a kind of a preparation video for MLB 19. I was kind of going to wait to make this video until they came out with the hype video for MLB 19. We're kind of about 3 months away now. I figured that they would come out with one soon. It's probably coming soon. But I kind of wanted to give some people some advice or players to look out for in next year's game that I think could get upgraded from where they start at the beginning of the season, as well as just kind of how I kind of made stubs throughout the year, because some people said that they're not World Series players, or they can't go 12-0 in BR, or they can't go 12-1 in events, and that's perfectly fine. I'm going to try to give you some tips, and throughout the year, I mean, if you follow the channel throughout the year, we're going to learn together in MLB 19. I know it's going to be a different game, but here I kind of have a screenshot of the first time I made World Series in this game, and the team that I had, that gold Billy Williams was indeed the diamond Billy Williams from the career arc. But I kind of had a budget team. The only guy I really had was Bryce Harper. I don't have money to spend on this game because I am a college student. So if you guys are like me and you want to just grind out the game, this was 3 months into the game in June, somewhere in middle of June. I was making a push towards World Series. This was the team. This was my World Series game. This is the team that I had. So I wanted to just show you guys a little bit about that, a little bit of background information there. But the biggest guy that I'm going to be looking for in the upcoming year is Ronald Acuna. I think the young talent in MLB at this point in the game, going into the 2019 season, this guy is one of the cards you have to look out for. They made a Future Stars card as well, and that's kind of the trend here. The first couple cards I'm going to be showing you are going to be cards that they had another card that was kind of boosted in this year's game, and what that tells me is that the developers know about these cards as well. Obviously they know about the players they create the MLB game, but what I'm saying is these cards are also on their radar. I think that these cards are more likely to get a boost rather than some other cards. I think these young guys also have a better chance of breaking out. I think Ozzie Albies is another one. No, I'm not a Braves fan. I respect the young talent in the game, and I understand how these cards like Aaron Judge could go from a common to a gold in MLB The Show 17 and stuff like that, where these cards are breaking out, starting off as a silver card in Acuna or gold card in Acuna, stuff like that. So Ozzie Albies did get a Player of the Month card later on in the season. I mean, it was fairly early. It was April. I thought he could have actually went diamond. His live series card could have actually went diamond as well. He performed pretty well, but I don't know. I look for him to break out a little bit next year. The Braves are going to be pretty good, and I was rooting for them this year. But anyway, I think another card, especially with the fact that Bryce Harper is leaving, or potentially leaving the Nationals. I don't think they're going to sign him personally. I think he's going to another team. But I think this card, Juan Soto, this young guy, 19 years old, going to be turning 20 during next year. I don't really know his stats. I don't know these guys' stats off the top of my head. But he did get a Player of the Month card as well. Not really that much boosted, but I think that this card could break out easily. I think his production could go way up going into this MLB The Show, or MLB the season, the real season 19, and that reflects on, because he's so young. I mean, it's a 3-year average. This will be only his second year, so I figured that he would get an upgrade earlier than some of these other guys. Cody Bellinger is one guy to look out for. This is going to be his 3rd season. And this is going to be a card that I mean, he did get a postseason version of a center fielder. Very good card as well. I'm excited to see what the Dodgers are going to do. I'm just a big baseball fan. I'm a Tigers fan and a Diamondbacks fan. But I look forward to watching some of these good teams, some of these good games. And this is his postseason card. I mean, I figured he might start off as a diamond. I don't know. I don't know anything about MLB The Show 19. That's why I kind of wanted to wait to see what if they showed anything about that game up until this point. As far as the stuff that they have released, we can't talk about that, so I wasn't a part of it. I just can't talk about any of that stuff. I think another card to look out for is Miguel Andujar. He was a potential Rookie of the Year candidate, and I will also be including some pitchers in this one, some other guys, every position, just about every position. But Andujar also had a Player of the Month card, and it was very good. I mean, this diamond is much improved from his live series. But I think that he has a chance to break out. He was slugging, especially if he fields a little bit better this next year. His slugging percentage was high. He was hitting for a lot of doubles. I don't know all the stats specifically, but I don't really have time to look up all that stuff because of I'm preparing for the upcoming semester myself in college and stuff like that. That's why I haven't live streamed. But I also think this Raul Mondesi is another good card. Everybody knows about the Diamond Player of the Month, Raul Mondesi, and I think because he's so young, he has a really good chance to stand out on the Royals, be one of their better cards. He could potentially be a gold early on, a card that you might want to invest in. And what I mean by invest in is if you're like me, I'm getting the $100 version of the game, which will include about 5,000 stubs just for pre-ordering it, 15,000 stubs for the digital deluxe edition. So that'll give me about 20,000 stubs. Some of it, I mean, I'm going to have 30 packs, so I'm going to build my team with some of those guys that I pull out of the packs. And then I'm going to invest a portion of my stubs into players that I think might get upgraded, might go up in overall during the first roster update. I think just another card to look out for is this Jose Leclerc. I mean, a lot of these cards have the same kind of trend to them. As the screenshots just go on, a lot of these cards have the same trend. So cards that I think that are young guys that could potentially be very, very helpful for their teams, standout players for their teams. This Matt Chapman was, I mean, probably the best fielder in the MLB at third base all around. I mean, unless Machado goes back to third and has an outstanding year, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen with that. But I think this Matt Chapman, this Player of the Month card, I didn't get him because I didn't really do this program, but I think I still could get him. I'm not really sure how that works in this year's game. I'd have to look back, but it's not a card that I really want, but it's definitely a card that I'd look for in next year's game, depending on what he starts at. Max Muncy is another good card that would be on my radar. I mean, he's 27, he's a little bit older. These last couple guys are a little bit older, but definitely guys you want to have on your team, budget beasts, as we get later on in this video. But he also did have a Player of the Month gold card as well. Something else I wanted to say about this is at the beginning of this game, how I got some of the cards I got was because of the exchange. I was buying silver cards and then exchanging them for gold cards. Some of the gold cards were going for around 20,000 stubs. So I was buying silvers for around 300 stubs, 400 stubs, exchanging them, trying to get lucky and pull cards like George Springer, who was like, I don't know, going for like 19,000 stubs at the beginning of the game. If I went back to my orders, I could probably look that up. But that's how I was making stubs. I turned the 20,000, 30,000 subs that we got for pre-ordering the game into about 100 and something thousand subs and bought that Bryce Harper for my team, along with the grind squad like I showed you guys in the previous screenshot, the opening screenshot of this video. I think this card, Brandon Nimmo, would be the #1 card I think I would invest in. I'm not sure if, I think this card, I don't really know how to describe it. This card's probably the most criminally underrated guy in the MLB. He's one of the top hitters in the MLB, but look at those stats. Like, they just don't represent it in the game. I think that he's going to break out this next year for the Mets. I think he has a chance to be very productive. Rhys Hoskins is another card. He had a Player of the Month card in MLB The Show 17. That was really good. The one thing you have to keep in mind with some of these cards is they're also live series cards, so they have active quirks that make their PCI size increase. And at the beginning of the game, the PCI was a little bit different size. There was patches that happened. The same thing is going to happen in MLB 19, where they start to change the game a month or two in as soon as the game's released. That's just part of any video game. You have to make adjustments. You have to do things differently. You have to build your team differently. There's going to be a different meta. I completely understand that. I'm just showing you guys cards that I think have a potential to break out, have a potential to get upgraded. I think this is a perfect time to make this video, and I wanted to make a more positive video than I did previously. I wasn't trying to make a negative video. I just wanted to compare some of the content between the different games. I understand that some of those cards were different cards, but I also think that cards like JT Realmuto got a finest card, and I think that he could be the best catcher rated in MLB The Show 19. I'm not sure that how the game's going to play. I talked about Willson Contreras a little bit this year. That's another one. I mean, I'm trying to just show you guys some cards that I think that I would be looking out for. Some of these cards might not get upgraded. Like Raisel Iglesias, he probably wouldn't get upgraded, but this is a very good card to have in a budget bullpen early on in the season, depending on if even fastballs are usable, depending on if they increase the pitch speed. Some of these cards will be usable. Like Carlos Martinez would be one of my go-to starting pitchers, but the Cardinals moved him to the bullpen. This is before some of the moves are made in the offseason as well. This video, you can kind of look back on it as the months develop here before the game comes out. I just think that it's exciting to start talking about some MLB The Show 19, because right now in the game, the way the game is, the rewards are decent, but they're kind of the same rewards that we've had. The game is kind of finished with when it comes to content. There's going to be a forever event, and a forever ranked season's coming soon. I think it might be next month. We might see that, but I mean, like guys like this, for example, Jordan Hicks might be one of the guys that could go from bronze to gold in in the Cardinals bullpen there. He's one of the most electric pitchers in baseball. Throws 104-mile-an-hour sinker. So if they increase the pitch speeds, to where he can actually hit 103, 104, something like that. I don't know if that's possible, but I'm just using that as an example. That Jose Barrios and this Garrett Richards are two really good budget pitchers that I used at the beginning of the season when I wasn't grinding, or when I was grinding for those cards like Don Sutton, Brett Saberhagen, career arc, stuff like that. Like these cards allowed me to unlock some of those cards. This Walker Buehler, I mean, Walker Buehler had a tremendous year, a really good postseason. He also got a Player of the Month card. I didn't want to make this video too long, so I didn't include that specific card. I kind of thought about it afterward. I wanted just to include as many pitchers as I could. Khris Davis is one of the oldest guys that I included in this video, but definitely a must-have in your team on your team early on in the season. He's a left fielder with tremendous power, especially if they go over 100 or 99 power in next year's game. I'm not sure how they're going to do it, but Jon Lester is another actually, he is the oldest guy, I guess. Jon Lester is probably one of the most underrated pitchers. He throws 5 pitches. He's a lefty. If lefties are more usable in next year's game, he's probably one of my go-to guys. I used him in the first World Series game of the year that I played, that event, Jon Lester. Shohei Ohtani, I know he had Tommy John. He's the last card of this video. I know he had Tommy John, but he is going to DH, and we saw how effective he was at the plate. If he focuses one full year on hitting, I think he's going to be a very good asset to the Angels. But thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know what you guys think about some of these cards I included in this one, and let me know if you're excited for the MLB The Show 19 season along with the Major League season. Until next time, guys, peace out.